5 tips on how to take notes in your meetings. You're probably wondering why I'm doing a video on how to take notes in a meeting with a prospect, because there's an art and a science to sales. The science is in the process and the art is in the conversation. So how do you have the conversation while taking notes? Here are 5 tips on how to take notes in your meetings. Tip number 1 is to ask the prospect for their permission to take notes. I bet you that your prospects will appreciate that and would probably be more concerned if you didn't ask them if you could take notes in the meeting. Tip number 2 is to write down the key information. Sometimes I try to write down everything they say. I write too fast and I start making abbreviations. After my meeting, my notes look like hieroglyphics and I feel like I need the Rosetta Stone to decipher them. Now I just write down the most important points. Tip number 3 is to maintain eye contact with the prospect. This is one of the most challenging aspects of taking notes, balancing note-taking and maintaining eye contact with the prospect. I try to avoid spending too much time looking down at my yellow pad of paper. And tip number 4 is to know when to stop taking notes. There are times in a meeting with the prospect and they're making a very important point. They're passionate about a topic. They're trying to be discreet, and it's clearly time to stop taking notes. You have to pay close attention to the direction and the tone of the conversation. And tip number 5 is to try to avoid taking notes in a social setting. I have had more than my fair share of breakfast and lunch meetings, and taking notes in those types of meetings is somewhat awkward. Do you want to have your pen in your hand, or are you looking for your fork? What I try to do is when the meeting is over, I get out to my car, get out my yellow pad, and I write down my notes while the conversation is still fresh in my mind. Once again, there's an art and a science to selling. In meeting, there's an art in asking questions and taking notes without detracting from the conversation. What to do? Become more aware of how you are taking notes in your meetings with prospects. The time is now.